We can always stay a little longer. We don't have a plan. Just let me live a little younger than I really am. We've got nothing here to save us from ourselves. Let's live life like it's made up, jump in the wishing well. We are wanderers, nothing can stop us. 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 We are wanderers, nothing.
Oh my, you just can't unsee that, can you? We're here in Chesapeake Bay, and our previous videos you saw we was up in Maine and New England, and we got to see all the winter foliage colors, the changing of the trees and stuff, and that was a big item on Pearl's bucket list. But now coming in on the lower half of the East Coast is a thing on my bucket list. A book written about the Cadell family heritage. When our ancestors came over from Scotland back in 1746, we had our four greats, great-great-great-great-grandfather, Andrew Cadell. He ran away from home at 14 and came to America. I just wanted to kind of get a feel for the country, what he would have saw when he was 14 years old and first come over here. And so we're going to stop in here at Chesapeake Bay, and then down in Williamton, North Carolina, and then Charleston, South Carolina, and just kind of get that feel. We met up with our friends Pat and Chris. They're staying at a military base about 50 miles away, but in between them and us is a town called Yorktown, Virginia. And that's where the last battle of the American Revolution was fought, and so we went. They have a living museum, they call it, where they are all set up as a military base and show the lifestyle that the soldiers lived back during the American Revolution. And then another part of it shows the farms and what life on the farms was like during that same time frame, the 1750s. And so it kind of shows, kind of imagine my grandfather at 14, 15, 16, whatever, working in the farm and these different duties, and wondering if he was glad he came to America, or does he wish he was back in Scotland. I'm glad he came to America, even though it's got to be tough. I can't imagine one of my boys getting on a ship and sailing off somewhere. So anyway, that's what this video is all about, and let's go to Yorktown, to the Living Museum. So the museum is set up in three different sections. One, they have the inside, it's like a regular museum, and then they have an outside section that's got a camp of like soldiers that fought in the American Revolution, their daily lifestyle. These tents that you see are 7 by 7, and those infantrymen would sleep 6 people in each tent each night back during the American Revolution. The tent's 7 by 7 square, and 6 men would sleep in there. And they went through all kind of daily activities for cooking their meals and stuff. There's also a farm section that shows what life on a farm was like back in the mid-1700s that we'll get to in a minute. And these guys, you can ask them any questions. They kind of explain their whole lifestyle in general.
As you see, some bones, some skin, some other inedible parts. This is the camp kitchen, by the way. So this meat they make mixed together with some beans. The beans, the meat, they mix together into a nice super stew. And then when they're on the march,
I don't know. I'm guessing that people.
They have this.
Like a dice game where you're trying to get all the numbers down. That's pretty cool.
Did you decide what it was?
So apparently they've got.
Because you got to pay to get your laundry done.
Like Yaki stuff, and then it's got.
The version of it is we go like this. It's called a trepan. And so the average person's skull is about a 1/2 inch to a 3/4 inch thick. My skull is thicker than my wife tells me it is. So they drill a hole in the head, then the surgeon will wrap the soldier's head in bandages and lay him on that side where the hole is. and he'll keep checking it every 20 minutes. And when the bandage is dry, drainage is done. The soldier is awake the entire time. They still do this procedure today. They still do trephinations today.
The doctor, there was a doctor that talked all about how if you get a concussion, they got to drill a hole in your head and drain the water out of your brain and stuff. So it was a pretty tough life, no doubt about it. So looking out over the water here at Chesapeake Bay, this is one of the locations where my grandfather's ship could have docked at and he would have been put ashore. In trying to research a little bit of this, I come across this paper titled Passage to America in 1750, which is right when he came over. And it said that it was so expensive to come over here to pay for your passage, it would take about 6 months' wages for the average worker to pay to bring himself over. So how they'd pay for their passage is the captains of ships would sign contracts with people over in Scotland and Germany, and they'd sign away and promise to work for between 3 to 5 years over in America and sign that contract, and the ship captain would fill his boat up with people with these contracts signed, and he'd sail to America, take about 2 months, and then he would dock in over there in the harbor in America. The people had to stay on board, so he'd post in town saying he has workers to come on his ship and to pick out who you want. You know, the farm owners and plantation owners would come on ship, and they'd look through the people if they was needing cooks or needing, you know, laborers or whatever. And they didn't even keep families together. You could buy just the wife or the husband or the kids, according to this Passage to America paper. So that's how the captain would make his money. And, you know, a lot of people would die, and a lot of people, you know, boats would sink. It was very dangerous to make this 2-month passage. Well, obviously Andrew didn't have the money to pay, so he stowed away on his ship, and he got caught when he stowed away. And the captain, he had to sign a contract with the captain. If as a minor, your contract would last until you're 21, because obviously you've got minimal skills, if any, just labor. And so he signed, he was an indentured servitude contract. So when he landed in America, somebody come on board and bought his contract, and he had to work for that person until he was 21. And that's how he got on board. So we went to the Living Museum. They have a section on farms in the mid-1700s. And so we kind of get to see some of the chores that Andrew Cadell did as a teenager here in America to earn his freedom and start our family roots, start our family tree over here in America. It seems like there's just a ton of work to be done on these farms. At this Living museum that we went to about the American Revolution, they also had a section on the farms around the 1750s. They said the average farm had about 5 acres of tobacco, and that's what made their money, their cash crop, that they would send back to the King of England, sell to the King of England, and pay their taxes. And that's part of what started the revolution. The taxes was so dang high. But that 5 acres, each plant was planted like 4 feet apart and took a half a gallon of water a day. And so they carried these little water buckets on their shoulders. There was like a gallon in each pot, and they'd walk out to the field and pour on one plant and pour on another plant and come back and fill it up. So it's all day long. I don't know how many hundred tobacco plants would fill up 5 acres, but I'm guessing a lot. And then the bugs, there's no insecticide, so they had to walk through and take all the bugs off, because if a bug ate a hole in a plant, they'd cut that plant out and throw it away, because it would lower the quality, the rating on their overall tobacco that they took to the market. So it was a whole lot of work. I'm sure he was glad when that 7 years was up. He ended up marrying the person that bought his contract, and he worked for 7 years. He ended up marrying the daughter, and then he got his own farm and stuff. And anyway, that's where the Cadell started here in America. They think the ship that he was a stowaway on docked in Charleston, South Carolina, or it could have been Williamstown, North Carolina, or it could have been here to Chesapeake Bay in Virginia. So we're going to stop and at campsites. Thousand Trails had its campsite at each one of those places. Well, really the one at Williamston, North Carolina, Thousand Trails don't have one, but we're going to meet Pat and Chris right outside of Williamston, and they're staying at an Air Force Base campground, and they're going to sponsor us to stay there. So we're going to stay right on the ocean. The campground, this military retirement, if you've got that and you're staying in some of these military RV campgrounds, that's a pretty good gig. I think it's 25 bucks a day, but it's right on the ocean. It just looks beautiful. So bottom line, we're going to get to stay at all three of those places where the first Cadell pulled in. We're not going to do a lot of research and trying to find out anything, because most of it's kind of been found out, I think, already. Just going to kind of go and see where our family started over here. And we got a spot facing right out towards the river. We're on a river that feeds into Chesapeake Bay at the campground. And as we was hooking up, our neighbors came over, William and Lynette, a super nice couple, and they come here all the time. They had a couple of cold beers in their hand, and we sat down and they just told us all about the park and the area, and really a great couple. Glad we got to meet them. Unfortunately, they're gone already. So this is our neighbor. We're fixing to head out. We've been drinking some cold beer and talking RV stuff. William, I just wanted to say we enjoyed meeting you guys, and Lynette.
Nice.
You're going to be going full-time in a couple of years?
About 24 months.
24 months. And you're ready, huh?
We hope to be ready.
Alrighty. Well, we enjoyed visiting with you guys. You were great neighbors, and we hope to see you on the road.
We'll see you on the road.
Okay.
Just keep doing what you do.
Y'all drive safe.
All right, now.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
But they told us about the Urbana Oyster Festival, 20 miles away maybe. And we're not real oyster people, so that didn't turn us on, but just going to the festival and see what all was going on was fun. There was a huge line. I think everybody in this part of the state was there, hundreds of people. It benefits the Special Olympics, I think, is who they sponsor. They had $20 for parking, and you parked about a mile away from town, had to walk in or pay a little tractor to drive you in on a trailer. Food courts everywhere. Everybody was walking their dogs. We saw a lot of really fun, good-looking dogs. The food, we didn't enjoy the food, but we're just not oyster people. I tried some oysters. Deep fried or something's what I tried. I'm not ready for raw oysters. Most of the people there loved it. Oh, and we got Tinker. It's the most expensive trim we've ever got, but we had Pearl took her and had a real nice dog spa treatment. So she looks really good. Plus Chuck and Cheryl from the YouTube Get Gone With Us. Cheryl makes homemade dog cookies. She sent Tinker a bag of cookies and a picture of their dogs, which is super sweet. Food. Oh, she makes dog cookies.
Oh. Oh, yummy.
I think that was a home run. I think here's the recipe or something. How about them, Pearl? We also got to meet up with a couple that follows our channel, Don and Mike, that lives here in the area, and went and had some more oysters. This time I tried a, how was it cooked? Steamed? So this time I tried a steamed oyster, and it was pretty good. Not ready for a full serving or ready for a raw oyster, but I'm making progress. But they're going to start, they just ordered a new tiffin, 38-foot tiffin. They're going to pick it up next spring, I think. And he's like a hospital administrator, and she's a adjunct professor that teaches healthcare in a university somewhere. So she's going to work part of it. He's going to retire and pick up just some fun jobs. They both have great outgoing personalities and are real people kind of people. And so he's going to just work fun jobs that he wants to work. And she's going to teach like 5 or 6 months a year and then travel 5 or 6 months a year.
No, this is big.
So we got to pick their brains. They picked our brains. We had a great afternoon. We'd put this, if you're in this part of the country, in one of our, in the top 5 maybe thousand trails we've been to. There's not any real big towns within 30 or 40 miles of here, but the RV park itself is awesome. And if you got a boat, I mean, you got a great marina, great dock, and just seem like everybody's super friendly. So put it on your list if you're in this part of the country. So that pretty much covers Chesapeake Bay. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you got any questions or comments, stick them down at the bottom. And until then, keep the wheels rolling, stay safe. We'll see you at the next exit. Bye-bye.
Just let me live a little younger than I really am. We've got nothing here to save us from ourselves. Let's live life like it's made up, jump in the wishing well. We are wanderers, nothing can stop us. 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 We are wanderers, nothing